1950s Australia. Kids left the house at sunrise and didn't come home until the streetlights came on. No phones, no supervision, no safety equipment. They climbed trees without harnesses, swam in creeks without lifeguards, and rode bikes without helmets. They got hurt. They got scared. They got tough. This wasn't negligence. This was childhood. While today's kids are driven to play dates and wrapped in bubble wrap, 1950s Australian kids were forging themselves in fire. They became the toughest generation this country has ever seen, not because they were special, because the world demanded it. 1. They walked everywhere, no matter the distance. School was 3 miles away. You walked 5 miles, still walked. Rain, shine, or scorching heat, didn't matter. No parents drove you. No school buses in most areas. Just your feet and the road ahead. You'd leave home at 7 a.m, lunchbox in hand, walk through empty streets, across paddocks, along dirt roads, sometimes alone, sometimes with your mates. In summer, the sun would beat down mercilessly. You'd arrive at school drenched in sweat, shirt sticking to your back. In winter, you'd walk in the freezing dark, fingers numb, teeth chattering. Blisters? Tape them up, sore feet, keep walking, twisted ankle, limp the rest of the way. You learned distance didn't mean anything. Pain was temporary. Complaining was pointless. By the time you were 10, you'd walked thousands of miles. Your legs were iron. Your endurance was limitless. That daily grind built something in you. Grit, stamina, self-reliance. Modern kids get driven 2 blocks to school. 1950s kids, they walked until their shoes wore out, then kept walking. 2. They worked actual jobs from age 10. Childhood ended early. By 10, most kids had jobs. Real jobs, paying jobs, paperboy, milk run assistant, delivering groceries, working in your dad's shop, farm work if you lived rural. You'd wake at 4 a.m. to deliver papers. Ride your bike through the dark, canvas bag, heavy across. Your chest, throw papers onto doorsteps, collect money on Fridays. Or you'd help the milkman, jumping off the truck, running bottles to doorsteps, jumping back on before he drove off. Farm kids had it hardest, feeding animals, mucking stables, fixing fences, proper manual labour before school even started. You didn't get pocket money for existing. You earned every penny. You worked for it. That money, you gave most of it to mum for the household. What was left was yours. You learned early, work equals money. Money equals survival. Nothing's free. 10-year-olds today play video games. 10-year-olds in the 50s knew the value of a hard day's work and went to bed with aching muscles. 3. They played outside until dark with zero supervision summer holidays. Mum would shove you out the door at breakfast. Go play. Come back when the streetlights come on. That was it. No checking in. No mobile phones. No tracking devices. Complete freedom. You'd disappear for 12 hours. Roaming the Opisimbia neighbourhood. Building cubbies in the bush. Riding bikes to the creek. Exploring construction sites. Climbing water towers. Dangerous? Absolutely. That was the point. You'd fall out of trees, crack your head, dust yourself off, keep playing. You'd jump off rope swings into rivers without checking the depth first, ride your bike off homemade ramps, build fires without supervision. Sometimes you'd come home bleeding. Mum would patch you up, ask what happened, then send you back out. You learned to assess risk yourself, to trust your instincts, to handle consequences. No helicopter parents, no safety briefings. Just you and the world figuring it out together. That freedom forged independence, self-sufficiency, confidence. Modern kids need permission to cross the street. 1950s kids navigated the entire suburb alone. 4. They swam in rivers and creeks without lifeguards. Hot day, you went to the creek, the river, the waterhole. Wherever there was water, no lifeguards, no safety barriers. No adult supervision whatsoever. You'd strip down to your shorts and jump in, from rocks, from trees, from whatever height you could climb to. Some kids couldn't swim well, they learned the hard way, or their mates taught them. Sink or swim. Literally. Water was murky. You couldn't see the bottom. Didn't know what was down there. Logs, rocks, snakes sometimes. Didn't matter. You jumped anyway. Strong currents. You learned to read the water, to respect it, to know when to get out. Kids drowned sometimes. Everybody knew someone. That made you more careful, not less adventurous. You developed a healthy respect for danger, an understanding that nature didn't care about you. You learned to swim properly, to survive, to save yourself and others if needed. Public pools now have 3 lifeguards and warning signs everywhere. 1950s kids learned to swim in rivers that could kill them, and that made them stronger. 5. They fixed things themselves or went without something broke. You fixed it. Yourself, with whatever tools and materials you had. Bike chain snapped, you'd repair it with wire. Tyre punctured, patch it. Cricket bat cracked, tape it up. Nobody was buying you new things. Money was tight. You made do. Toys broke? You take them apart, figure out what went wrong, try to fix them with bits from other broken toys. You learned mechanics, engineering, problem solving. Not from books, from necessity. Your dad might show you once how to do something. After that, you were on your own. If you couldn't fix it, you went without. Simple as that. That created resourcefulness, ingenuity, a refusal to accept helplessness. You didn't throw things away. You fixed them, adapted them, made them work. Modern kids get new phones when the old one lags. 1950s kids could disassemble and rebuild their entire bike blindfolded. That self-reliance ran deep. You didn't need anyone to solve your problems. You were the solution. 6. They handled bullies themselves. Someone giving you trouble. At school, you sorted it out yourself. Teachers didn't intervene. Parents didn't call the school. Anti-bullying policies didn't exist. You had two choices, take it or fight back. Most kids fought back, not always physically, sometimes with words, sometimes by standing your ground. But you handled it. The playground had rules, unspoken but understood. Fight fair, one-on-one, no weapons. When someone's down, it's over. You'd scrap behind the shelter sheds, quick and brutal. Then shake hands and move on. Sometimes you lost. Came home with a black eye. Dad would ask what happened. You'd tell him. He'd ask if you fought back. If you did, that was the end of it. You learned to stand up for yourself, to face fear head on, to take a punch and keep going. Bullies still existed, but they knew everyone could fight back. That kept things balanced. Modern schools have zero tolerance policies and counsellors. 1950s kids learned that sometimes you have to defend yourself, and that lesson stayed with them forever. 7. They lived through polio scares. Polio was real, terrifying. Every parent's nightmare. Summer would come and pools would close, public gatherings banned, kids quarantined at home. You knew kids who got it, saw them in iron lungs, watched them struggle to walk with leg braces. Some died, some were paralysed for life. Nobody knew who'd get it or when. The fear was constant, lurking in the background of childhood, but you didn't stop living. Couldn't afford to. You kept playing, kept going to school, kept being kids. When the vaccine finally came in 1956, everyone lined up. No questions, no hesitation. You got your sugar cube with the vaccine and thanked God. That generation knew real disease, real danger you couldn't see or fight. It taught them perspective, gratitude, and understanding that health wasn't guaranteed. Modern kids worry about screen time. 1950s kids worried about ending up in an iron lung. That brush with mortality at such a young age created resilience. An appreciation for simply being alive and able-bodied. 8. They ate whatever was put in front of them. Dinner was on the table at 6 sharp. You ate it. All of it. No discussion. Don't like peas. Too bad. Eat them anyway. Liver and onions making you gag. Swallow it down. Food wasn't entertainment. It was fuel. Sustenance. You didn't get options. One meal was prepared. Everyone ate the same thing. If you didn't eat, you went hungry. No special kid menus. No nuggets and chips. You ate adult food from the time you could chew. Leftovers were reheated and served again and again. Until they were gone. Nothing was wasted. Ever. You learned not to be fussy, to eat when food was available because you never knew when the next meal might be lean. Rationing had only ended a few years earlier. That mentality lingered. Food was precious. You developed a cast-iron stomach. Could eat anything, anywhere, anytime. Modern kids have severe allergies and sensory issues. 1950s kids ate boiled mutton and were grateful for it. That taught discipline, gratitude, the understanding that your preferences didn't matter, survival did. 9. They were disciplined harshly and immediately misbehave. You got the strap, the wooden spoon, the belt, Dad's hand across the back of your head. Immediate, physical, unforgettable. Talk back to your mother, whack. Lie, whack. Break something through carelessness, whack. It wasn't abuse, it was discipline. Every family did it. Teachers did it at school. Parents did it at home. You learned cause and effect instantly. Actions had consequences, painful ones. It created respect. Fear, yes, but also respect for authority and rules. You didn't need 3 warnings. 1 was enough. You remembered. Modern parents use timeouts and conversations. 1950s parents use swift physical correction. Did it work? Debatable. But it definitely created kids who thought twice before acting out. You learned self-control, to think before you spoke, to behave because the alternative hurt. That discipline, harsh as it was, created structure, boundaries, and understanding that the world had rules and breaking them had real consequences. 10. Esto. They entertained themselves with nothing, no TV in most homes until late 50s. No toys from China, no screens, nothing. You made your own fun, with sticks, rocks, string, imagination. You'd build billy carts from scrap wood and old pram wheels. Race them down hills at terrifying speeds. Make slingshots, carve wooden swords. Build elaborate forts from whatever you could find. Cricket in the street with a bin for wickets. Marbles in the dirt. Hopscotch on the footpath. Girls made dolls from pegs and fabric scraps. Boys made bows and arrows that actually worked. You'd play the same games for hours, days, weeks. Never bored because your imagination was limitless. Reading was entertainment. The library was treasure. 1 book would last you a week. You learned creativity, self-sufficiency, the ability to be happy with absolutely nothing. Modern kids need constant stimulation, iPads, streaming services, hundreds of toys they never touch. 1950s kids had a stick and a rock and created entire worlds. That imagination, that creativity, it never left them. 11. They handled injuries without hospitals. Cut yourself badly. Mum would pour iodine on it. You'd scream. She'd bandage it. Done. Doctors were expensive. Hospitals were for emergencies only. Real emergencies. Broken bone. If it wasn't sticking out, you'd strap it up at home. Might heal crooked, but it healed. Sprained ankle? Wrap it. Keep off it. It'll be right. Serious burns got butter slapped on them. Stitches were done at the kitchen table sometimes. You learned to push through pain, to heal without medicine, to trust your body's resilience. Teeth hurt? No regular dentist visits. You waited until it was unbearable, then got it pulled. Kids walked around with scars, crooked fingers, limps from old injuries that never healed quite right. That was normal. Bodies were tough. They could take damage and keep going. Modern kids go to emergency for a splinter. 1950s kids dealt with legitimate injuries at home. That created toughness, a high pain tolerance, and understanding that your body was remarkably resilient if you let it heal. 12. They lived with real consequences. Fail at school? You repeated the year. Full stop. No grade inflation. No participation trophies. Get expelled? Your future was done. No second chances at another school. Get in trouble with the law? A juvenile detention? Reformatory school? Your record followed you forever. Make a mistake. Live with it. No do-overs. No reset button. That created accountability, responsibility, an understanding that your choices shaped your life permanently. You learned to think ahead, to consider consequences before acting, to be careful because there were no safety nets. Get a girl pregnant? You married her. End of story. Your life changed overnight. Steal something? The shopkeeper would tell your dad would make you return it and apologize, then you'd get the hiding of your life. The world was unforgiving. It didn't care about your feelings or your intentions. That harshness created careful, thoughtful people who understood the weight of their decisions. Modern society has safety nets everywhere. 1950s kids had cold, hard consequences. It made them sharp, cautious, wise beyond their years. 12 ways Australian kids from the 1950s became the toughest generation ever. They walked miles in the heat, worked real jobs at 10, survived polio scares and backyard injuries without hospitals, fixed what broke or went without, fought their own battles and faced harsh consequences for every mistake. They weren't given toughness. They earned it through pain, independence and relentless exposure to real danger and real consequences. We've gained safety and comfort since then. But we've lost something too, that raw resilience, that unbreakable toughness. Which of these shaped you? What did we lose when we made childhood safe?